Welcome back to Day Rates,
Show,
where we talk about
design,
and
money.
all right.
Yay.
Okay, so today we have a very special guest in Day Rates Studios, and who have we got, Miles?
You might know him from his YouTube channel, his tutorials. You might know him because he's the only one that's recommended this channel. Our guest today, Ben Marriott.
Ben Marriott!
And the handshakes. Pleasure to meet you. Really good to have you on the show.
Good to see you, Ben.
Have a microphone.
It's great to be on the show. Thank you, guys.
So natural. What a pro. We haven't done an interview before, so this is probably going to be
Pretty messy.
pretty messy.
Pretty gritty, but that's how our show is. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited. People need to hear the gritty truth.
That's what
That's
I think.
it. You're right, exactly.
We've got our series of organized questions.
Wonderful.
And there's a fly in the room, which I think is adding to the...
That's normal, though. We have that a lot.
Joel will comp it out.
Oh, God.
Joel will just track and remove the fly. No one look at it or address it.
It's going to mess up the autofocus.
Should I get some bug spray?
Joel, come on, mate. Closed set.
I think I actually got it.
Did you get it? Our next guest you might know from being the co-host of the popular YouTube show Day Rates. He's a interesting fella. He's got a great face, and we're excited to hear what he has to say. Joel Stylus, everyone. Great to meet you, mate.
To be here.
Have a microphone.
Good to see you guys. I like holding the mics. This feels way more natural.
Everyone on this channel will surely know Ben because it's like the only reason anyone's come to this channel.
Correct.
So you'll probably know some of his story beforehand, but I figure, yeah, we'd hear about Ben's motion career and also, you know, his foray into YouTube and how that's been going. I'm going to try to do this so it doesn't feel like a job interview.
That's fine. Well, hopefully I get the position at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, you know, no promises. We'll do a trial day. But yeah, Joel and I kind of fell into motion. We didn't really... Well, you did graphic design, so you had some training in life,
Yeah.
which is good.
Which I thought I was getting a job here doing that, although you were just like, yeah, how about we just do animation? And I was like, I guess I'm doing that now.
I did the old bait and switch.
Yeah, you
it was
did.
kind
You
of like,
really
oh,
did.
it's a design role. We're a design company. And then you came and did some icons, and I'm like, what if we put them in motion? And then it's like, you're spending all day in After Effects.
I mean, it was a good thing, though.
Yeah,
A good, great thing.
good skill to have.
Great skill to have.
But
What about yourself?
yeah, how'd you get into motion?
I think a pretty similar story to Joel. So I studied design at university at Kofa at UNSW here in Sydney.
Shit. Good school.
Good school. Do right. Go Wildcats. Yeah, so I studied design and then freelance as an illustrator for a bit, and then, you know, kind of struggled a bit at that, you know.
Yeah.
Maintained, you know, cost of living, but not much more than that.
So you don't think there's as much work for like freelance illustrators in Sydney, or was it just you were developing your skills at that
Yeah,
stage
not
as
for
well?
crap illustrators.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, not for one straight out of uni that, you know, didn't know how the industry worked.
I'd be so curious to see your earlier work because I feel like you have such a defined style now.
Yeah.
And it is really illustrative, so I could see the illustration background.
Oh, really? Definitely. Well, they're all up on my Tumblr. Every
shit.
piece of digital art, I've uploaded them all to my Tumblr, so they're all there. You just got to scroll backwards.
Shit,
Maybe
man.
we can, you know.
We'll cycle some through now.
Hit them up on Tumblr. Let's just look at the images now together.
Whoa.
Wow.
But yeah, illustration then to motion. So what happened? Did you get a job that involved motion or self-taught?
So I got a job at a video production company. So they reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to come and illustrate for us?" I'm like, "Someone's going to pay me to illustrate, like on a
It's a big win.
full-time basis." I think it was, you know, it was a contract at the start. So I thought, yeah, I'll get paid to design every day, and they made videos and animations. So slowly, I think I worked there for 2.5 years, and just over the course of this 2.5 years, learnt animation. I'd done a little bit of it beforehand when I was, you know, doing freelance illustration, mainly just, you know, silly GIFs and things like that. But I did notice most of my jobs, even though I only knew a little bit of animation, I got given like a lot of animation jobs from my
So you had like a natural talent
from the
for it?
agent. I don't know. I think I just knew a little bit, and that was all it took for people.
Oh, yeah.
There was way more of a demand for animated stuff than illustrations.
I think there is it feels less accessible as a career, and the tools feel like a little more complicated to learn. So
Yeah.
I'd say that was our experience too. It's like there was just a demand for it, so we kept pushing in that direction.
Definitely, yeah.
So interesting to hear that's like an industry-wide thing, and we didn't just find some little pocket of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what happened. Like, you sort of were forcing me to do it. I didn't really want to do it. I was terrified of After Effects, man.
Yeah, see, animation gets forced on all of us.
It does.
you know?
But then you see, like, the money you can make, and you're like, fuck, like, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
yeah, you can burn way more money animating than you
Oh,
can
shit, yeah.
illustrating.
Yeah, see, I don't know, I've always looked at illustration and thought that would be so nice. Like, that would be like my dream retirement career from animation, because it's like, I'm sick of making everything fucking move. I just want to make the image, and that's like the whole thing now.
Oh, really?
But Yeah, I don't know. So, but it's interesting. You got dragged into it as well.
It is.
And
I do kind of feel the same way. So sometimes I just be, I wish someone just paid me heaps of money to do someone illustration for something.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It seems like so much less work than
or be that
animating.
part of the process where you do the storyboard and you're like, someone else animate it. Like,
Exactly.
Good luck with that, you know?
Yeah.
Dude,
But having to do
not
the
having to
whole
worry
thing.
about like that's a whole skill in itself. It's like illustrating for animation.
Yes.
Like far out, man. Because like if we've had to take some people's jobs, illustrations before to be like turn into animation, and you're just like, how? At least give us the design files. Sometimes they just give you a flat image. You're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like,
Good luck. Cut it
yeah,
up.
Jesus Christ.
Make some PNGs. But yeah, so what was the experience working like in a studio as opposed to freelance?
I think I had a great time. It was like I didn't have any experience in animation, so I definitely think everyone should work in a studio or at least in-house somewhere for 2 to 3 years before going freelance.
We should have done that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like I let so much because I was struggling to freelance as an illustrator,
Yeah.
mainly because I didn't understand, didn't have the freelance skills or
Yeah,
know the
yeah.
industry. And then working at this company, I picked a lot of that up through osmosis of I was mainly doing the design and animation, but I'd see how pictures went and how mainly the workflow of how a piece of animation works. I think if I was to freelance animation straight out of uni, I'd just give my files to people and I don't know what happens on the other side of that curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But being
true.
behind the curtain, I know how a good freelancer should act, how I should prep my files, what they're going to hate, what they're going to enjoy, and that type of stuff. But yeah, I had a good time mainly because I was started as a designer.
Yeah.
And slowly, built my way up learning animation. So I wasn't just thrown in saying, hey, you need to animate all this crazy stuff. It was always me going, hey, can I just animate something a little bit more difficult this time?
Yeah, cool.
And
That's nice. That's
so-
like a good little on-ramp into it,
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that process and recommend anyone work in-house first. Don't jump into freelance straight away. It can be tempting, but
It's exactly what I did, and it was a huge mistake.
We were just talking about this, weren't we? Did we do an episode on that? Where we're just like, was that the last episode? Anyway,
Yeah.
we were just talking about how like,
All the mistakes we've made.
but it's kind of been good for us because we've made all those mistakes and learned from them. So it's been good in that respect, although we feel like we have lost some time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like even our earlier ones, we wouldn't even provide full storyboards. The thing, there's so much of our process that was just missing, and
Yeah.
it's because I didn't have that studio experience like you did, and we just had to learn all this shit from YouTube tutorials or having terrible interactions with customers and stuff like that. And now we've got a good process, but yeah, just having some mentorship at the start of your career, it puts you on a way better trajectory, I think. So
definitely. I mean, I still made all those mistakes, and was part of a company that we made those mistakes as a company rather than
yeah,
as a person.
exactly. Yeah, nobody look at our older work, but you've got all your stuff on Tumblr, right?
Yeah, people can see it. They can go back there.
Old animations though as well, or is it just old?
You'll see the first animations. Like,
Oh my god.
Dude.
we can go have a look. They're, the first ones, they're pretty crap. But at the time, I was like, this is sick. Stuff is moving. My illustration is
Yeah,
moving.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is great. And now I look back and
That was it. I remember I animated my first icon, or even just having icons scale, and I was like, wow, I'm really doing it. And then, and then I was like, I saw someone else where stuff within the icon moved, and I was like, holy moly, it's really happening now. And that was like,
no, when you're in your first easy ease, like, damn, this is next level stuff.
so professional.
My first amazing blowout was just alpha matting something.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
just hide some shit. I was just like, so it's just not there on that side of it.
Yeah.
And it comes out of this thing. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Professional peekaboo.
yeah,
For adults.
shit, dude. Remember I did that train that came out of a tunnel?
Yes.
It was the best shit ever, dude.
Joel did it like a Tangara train because he's a street rat, and so he immediately wanted to animate a train. And I remember
I
you
came
went
on the
away
weekend.
back home from work, and you came in on the Monday, and you're like, "Look, man, I did a train." I was like,
I was so... I think it's on my dribble still.
"Yeah, it was good. It was
the
good.
train.
It was good design."
It sounds great.
Yeah,
Dude, that was my first taste of fuck, the animation is cool as fuck.
I was joking that After Effects, and Joel rips into me for this because it makes me sound like a nerd, but After Effects immediately made sense to me. Some other programs didn't, but there's something about it. I'm just like, oh, I get it.
It's just maths, eh?
yeah.
There's so much maths involved.
Once you get across the timeline and stuff, obviously there's depth. I'm not Andrew Kramer, but I understood the basics of it. There's something is logical about it compared to I've been using ZBrush and some other shitty programs, and they're just a nightmare comparatively. But After Effects has been pretty good. It's not that scary. It just looks scary.
I think so. Yeah, I think all the panels compared to like Photoshop and Illustrator, it's like, they're pretty much they look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different color in the left corner.
Yeah.
But there's just like all these panels in your workspaces, 10
Yeah,
by
you
10
put
pixels.
files in and stuff.
I know there's windows that you need to change because you can't possibly have them all open at
yeah.
the same time. It's
How customized do you get with that stuff?
I keep it pretty basic.
Yeah, I
I
love
think
that.
we saw that. I don't know what video it was that you did recently, but it was like you blew my mind when you could change something in the preferences so that when you open up a new, like you just open up After Effects, it doesn't come up with that window at the front.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, "Fuck! You just turn that off? Like that's crazy."
Yeah,
Little
game
shit like
changer.
that.
I'm saving minutes a day now, Mate,
it adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I keep mine really minimal. For the tutorials, I stick to the straight default layout and add the effects control. That's all I do. Just so I don't want people to open up a tutorial and think, I need to have all these plugins and I need to have custom workspace to make good work, because you don't need any of that stuff. Like they're good to have, but they won't make or break your work.
Yeah, it's true. Like we use, I know it's like a Motion 3 now. We use Motion 2 for that long because it's just a really easy way to. We do a lot of similar easing on the corporate jobs, so it's just like, just quickly tap what you need to do.
Yeah.
Keep it very consistent. But beyond that, like we're pretty minimal on plugins as well.
Yeah, I've got a few that are good, but nothing major.
Yeah, like even doing like pause from nulls and a few little extra ones that I don't have.
I still have like the classic layout. Like I don't fuck with it at all, man. I learnt that way, so I'm just like, this is what I know now. And if there's anything that I like desperately need to change, I'll do that for like a certain job.
Yeah.
But like majority, I'm just like classic.
I think that's it. Like classic's fine. The only thing I do change it up for is like if I'm doing rigging and I got to do a whole day of it, it's just way easier to put that layers on the side because then you get like a whole large amount to see, which is good. But beyond that, I keep it super basic as well. But that's like I've been doing. Joel and I were doing some Cinema 4D this week, and with that, because I'm not like as used to the program yet, I feel more comfortable like fucking around with the setup. So we're doing like multiple views and trying to kit that out how we like, and that felt really good. So now I'm thinking, if I go back to After Effects,
that's a whole that's true.
do a similar setup or
Because
something.
there's way more even in C4D. Like there's so many panels you can fucking have. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, panels
And
on
it's just,
panels.
like so customizable. Like
Yeah.
dude.
But anyway, enough about panels. We brought Ben in to talk about panels the whole time.
Hey man, you're yammering, dude.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so you worked at a studio for a bit, and then you decided to go freelance. What prompted you to do that, and how was that like?
Okay, what prompted me to go freelance was hearing Joey Corriman speak. I believe he was on a podcast. I think it might have been The Future. I'm not sure where, but he mentioned that he had a book out called The Freelance Manifesto, and he talked a bit about it and talked about this method of finding clients. And to me, that was the big part that was missing out of my freelance career otherwise, because I was, definitely, I still very much am today, but certainly a lot more beforehand, was very shy about, I'm just not forward about showing off my work and approaching
whole set of
people
skills, yeah.
and, being able to negotiate things and, just selling myself, I was not good at all. So I thought, my work's good. I can do good work, but no one knows about it, and I can't, how am I going to get these clients? And then he set out this this method, which just made it like really easy. I'm like, I could do that. It's not that hard. And I thought, well, then I'd have all the pieces that that I thought I'd need to go to freelance. And essentially, as soon as I heard that podcast, I planned, all right, I'm going to go freelance. When's the earliest point I can go freelance? And that was like 5 months from now, because I thought. So I had to, when my lease essentially ended on my house. So my wife and I were planning on moving out, getting a place that we could have a dog, and also we can get one with a second bedroom that I could use as a studio.
Yeah,
And
nice.
I thought, well, I've got 5 months to go freelance. To prep, which I think is an awesome time. I don't think you should just, rage quit and go freelance in a day.
No.
I mean, it could work out, but
Some planning helps.
have
for
a
sure.
plan. And
Yeah.
then so I knew, like, all right, I need to have a new show reel by then. So I've got 5 months. Here's my existing work that I can put in there. I need probably 3 or 4 more things, and work on those in the mornings and evenings. And had a little deadline. And then before a month beforehand, I can resign, and then outreach to potential clients and things like that. And for the first 3 months, I was working at the exact same company just as a freelancer.
Oh yeah, that's such a common story.
Yeah,
I know a lot of film guys that left their job and then they're just getting hired as a freelancer.
Exactly. I was literally at the same desk doing the same work for 3 times as much money, and could leave when I wanted.
Well, that's super nice of them to let you do that though. Like
Yeah.
you just like bail on them, and they're just like, all right.
Well, that's why it's good because you didn't do the rage quit and you gave him like appropriate notice and stuff. You keep that relationship going. I rage quit my job, and it's funny you got inspired by a podcast, and because I was doing a sales job, so I was just like already had the sales side down pat. But I remember I was listening to an Arnold Schwarzenegger podcast, and he was like, "I used to go and sell the ice creams, and I just did it. Go and do it, do your thing." And I was like, I'm gonna fucking do it. I remember I'm gonna do it. And then I quit, and I had I think I earned 20 grand the first year. And my wife, weekly shout out. Hannah. Also, weekly shout out to Ben's wife.
Wait, shout out to Kim Chi as well.
Kimchi the dog. Yeah, my wife had just bought a place because she was a full adult, and she was like, "Yeah, we'll reno it, we'll work out of it." And it was like this little studio, and she has like an interior designer, so she's like, "You have a sewing desk," and I could only work on that, and a sewing stool. So I was on literally a little sewing stool like this, and a tiny desk that was not even as wide as this, with a laptop for the whole first year. So I think planning a decent studio space to work out of, some forethought, maybe freelancing is something that you have some skill in, is a good idea. And I wouldn't recommend the way I did it. So steal Ben's method.
Do it this way. You're right though. Wait, Joey Corman is like a fucking genius with that stuff because he had a podcast on animalators as well, where I think he went through the exact same system.
It might have been that podcast.
Or it might have been that one. Yeah, that's the same, man. I listened to that and I was like, this guy is a fucking genius. Now we cold email some clients or some potential new clients these days, and using those techniques, using Hunter.io, shit like that,
all those little things,
cross-referencing with LinkedIn to get the right person to email and all that shit. It's really smart.
Yeah. And I feel like that's such his skill now, even building the School of Motion thing. He's very good at getting the message out there and doing the networking and all that side of things. So, good on him. Next hard-hitting question. Now it's time for some of that gotcha journalism.
Oh my God.
Are you a Democrat?
Go ahead, man. Ask a question. Get in here.
So, Ben, how is it moving more into the world of YouTube?
It's lovely.
But yeah, I mean, we had a beer recently, all of us together, and you were talking about how, you're going a lot more full time with YouTube.
Yeah, so that's the plan. So it just took off way quicker than I was expecting.
Yeah, your internet famous
really
at
quick,
this
man.
point. Yeah,
it was a few months, right? And you were hitting 100,000 or something.
A little while, but quicker than I expected. I set a goal of all right, if we get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we went above those goals. So I thought, I'm getting every sign that I should invest more time into this. So yeah, I'm slowly trying to do more of that as my job. I initially tried to get into YouTube so I could essentially remove clients from my job, so I wouldn't have to deal with, because
we know that feeling.
remove all the stuff I don't like doing and just add more. I just want to animate cool loops.
Yeah.
And then if I tell people how to make them, maybe that's the way I can finance that.
It's crazy that it worked out. The plan worked,
Dude. Yeah, just that first realization, or just the choice to do it. I mean, I'd be so scared to do that. I'd be like, someone's gonna call me out on some shit I did wrong or something.
Oh,
and I won't be able to take it.
We'd tinkered with the idea of doing tutorials, and then we kind of saw the quality of what you were doing.
We're just
we're just there's no point. We're not going to add anything new that's not being said here, so let's just talk trash. So, yeah, it's pretty good. What goes into making one of the tutorials? What's the process?
Got 3 ingredients to a tutorial.
Oh shit.
We got animation,
That makes sense.
That's true.
Expected.
voiceover,
Okay. Now we're talking. Literally. Here we go. Next one.
love.
Love.
Oh,
All right.
shit. See, I would have left the love out. That's why ours looks so shit.
Exactly. Yeah, start every episode fuck you. And then we just start here's how to do loops.
There's an untapped market of hate tutorials. That sort of outrage does really well on YouTube.
Yep.
So there's probably
First you flame them for not knowing it, so you set up that kind of aggressive mentor-mentee relationship, and then you give them the pro tip afterwards. I like that. All right, let's scrap this channel. Let's do that.
All right, sold.
Aggro toots.
So did you? How do you come up with an idea for something to do a tutorial about? Do people hit you up, or
Yeah.
do you just think example? You did a recent one that I watched today, which was the paper cutout. Did you figure that out by yourself and just thought that'd be a cool tutorial, or how did that come about?
a bunch of that one in particular. I worked out that system on a project working at my first in-house staff position. We had to create an animation. We had to like make it look more interesting. Like, oh, what if there was papery cutouts? I'm like,
yeah, right.
Oh, this is so funny. I did one animation that was the normal After Effects one, and the second one I said I have to do something different, and I said paper cutouts. That's legitimately the second thing I did because I'm like, fuck.
Who are you, Ben Marriott? Dude?
Animation 1 is taken. There's only one other option, and it is paper cutouts. So yeah,
there you go. So it's like, were a lot of these episodes that you've done in the past like things that you just figured out yourself when you're at that old job, or?
Some of them, like a few of them, like that one, and like I did a recent one about smoke, and then a couple of other ones where it's like I've learned this process while working as a freelance job or something. Like this is a thing I've acquired. Maybe this will be. If it was new to me, it'll probably be helpful to someone else.
I think it's kind of good because it's still fresh in your mind, so you understand that learner's mentality with the process. And also, like, that's great. You wanted to leave the kind of typical freelance to do more fun stuff. And this is a way for you to experiment and make money off that, which is kind of good. So it's like worthwhile.
Yeah,
definitely. Way to find things. Yeah.
Still waiting for day rates to pay off.
Yeah.
Any potential sponsors out there, just
buy our merch.
What would be your ideal sponsors for day rates?
Blue Chew.
I kind of want big corporate clients. I want like Mobil Oil or something. But yeah, so like how long does it take to make one of the tutorials? Like what some of the behind the scenes stuff, like, what's the process? Like once you got your idea.
Yeah, well, definitely I'm going to be doing a tutorial on making tutorials in the future, some point this year.
Oh, okay, all right. Watch this space then. So.
That'll kill it for sure, man. People want to see that.
The basic rundown is I come up with an idea. A few things it has to, fulfill in order for me, to make a tutorial about it. It has to, have a good potential for a good title and thumbnail, because that's all YouTube cares about.
Pretty much.
Really.
You crushed the thumbnail game too. It's really
thank you.
Yeah.
Because which is kind of a shame, because incentivizes, loud, flashy, like, do this cool, sick effect, rather than like, hey, here's some important workflow, like, I don't think a, folder structure tutorial, it'd be, as much as I'd love to do that, I know a lot of people would, it's just not going to get as many views from the wider audience. But so I like to, just sneak those in, sneak in the,
yeah, because that stuff is
the vegetables.
That stuff really like changes your career if you understand some of those boring basics. But yeah, it is hard to find information about that as much. But then, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people go to YouTube to get a brief moment of relaxation, and for them, it's like learning a cool new effect is great.
Definitely,
especially because you learn when you're doing one of those effects, you do learn a bunch of other stuff. They'll see some of how you structure your stuff. They kind of will naturally absorb that as well, I think.
Yeah,
so
that's the plan. Like, get them in with the title and thumbnail, and then feed them the what they need.
Real information.
Yeah. That tells them what they want, and you give them what they need.
I like that.
But
bait and switch.
Exactly, the bait and switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, I do a design first. Design probably takes the longest time, depending on the difficulty. But normally, I try to design something so it like looks different and good, so people are animating. So the example is on something that looks like it could be in a professional project.
Yeah.
Like with the paper cutout one, I animated this avocado and had like
looks
the starburst.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Like that one wasn't too difficult, but like you could have done that with just a square, but it wouldn't have been as interesting.
Yeah.
So, and that's I kind of think where my work is differentiated, like different.
I think
amongst
it
the
is.
tutorial
Yeah.
game.
Because I've seen we're like everyone in motion, you learn so much just through YouTube, and yeah, I'd say that it's so cool to see your illustrative style in your tutorials as well, and it really does make you want to like click on it. It has such a unique look, so that's really good, I think.
I guess it would have pushed you to like kind of get your own personal style, because like you can easily tell it's your stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like if I go on YouTube and see like the first thumbnail jump out at me, it would be like the same eyes that you were doing shit. It's good. Like, I mean, the amount of tutorials that you've done and the designs you've had to do for those, that would have helped you with your personal style, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess having like a weekly deadline to make something is like one of the best things I've done, because it means guarantees you're going to make something, put it out, but also you don't get too precious. So I can't spend 80 hours working on this because I need to get it done, and then there'll be if it doesn't go well, there's another one next week. And I think that's really having a deadline and a schedule to regularly do things, or even just trying to make more stuff, really takes the pressure off how good one thing needs to be. And I started, I'm not thinking about like this tutorial is going to make or break me, or this piece of art, like this illustration is going to be great, I'm going to put out there and people are going to love it, because if they don't, like, woe to me, I've wasted all this time. Whereas, doing it weekly, it's not like every tutorial doesn't make or break. It's, what the effect of the channel is after, a year. Like they've done almost 60 tutorials now, like 60 videos. It's like the body of work is, speaks more than any singular piece of piece of art.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
true. Good call.
Which is kind of good. Yeah, it's like that regular creativity too. It's a lot of us have some single masterpiece in our mind, and then you just never get anything done. It never becomes like a real portfolio piece. But just having that consistently chipping away at something is so much better.
Definitely, and I did that for years. Like I said, like, oh no, I can do this awesome stuff. And if only I had the chance, if only clients would hire me to do this, and I had not. Why would they do that? I've got none of that in my portfolio.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. The weekly thing. And it's like we discuss this on our channel every time we corner someone. We always talk about how they might have like a seemingly simple style, but there's so much depth in it if you do it regularly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really does apply to you because you've got this kind of like, it's a very, I don't know, it's kind of like a friendly, like, yeah, it's that friendly illustrative style, which is great. But then obviously if you see all your work together, like there's so much depth to it. And even like your goon piece, that looked a little...
That was sick.
Yeah, like that was so good. And it's like, you know, you can look at flat design and flat kind of animation and think, oh, you know what it is. But the way you add depth to it and the way you add the textures here and there, it's just works so well. Like, yeah, I feel like that's the thing. I always go down this rabbit hole of over designing shit and trying to find out like how complex I can make something, and it always looks way worse. So just like find what you're really good at and like go deep on that, I think.
Oh, thank you. I agree with that sentiment, but when I look at my own work, I don't see that. I think mine looks like all over the place. Like this one's all, like this one uses this all grain shading, but this one's just texture and flat. And I struggle to see the consistency in my work.
Yeah.
I know it's there, and I think, we're our own worst critic. Like, I think a lot of people out there that think they don't have a style, ask someone else. They'll probably be able to see it better than you can. But yeah, I still think like, oh, my work's not that consistent and I should work on that. And I think...
Well, I guess it's kind of like, it's good there's like still variation in it, but I'd say we could see your style, right? Like,
Yeah. I'm curious, is that someone saying that your stuff does look all kind of the same and you have a certain style? Is that like a compliment, or is that like...
No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's something like I want my work to have. I think, I think style should always evolve and stuff like that, but that's what I try to do. And I kind of, sometimes I make work, recently I'm thinking like, I'm just overdoing with all this like 3D sort of shading. I started like shading my work a lot more, and some of the pieces I haven't, released yet. I'm like, oh, is that overdone? And there's a couple of things I'll make and I think, is this too dissimilar to my other work? Should I just not put this out because it's going to be too different and confusing? But I just have the opinion of just put it out there. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, what's the worst, that it can happen? And I think, it's less important to have maybe a style and more consistency in sort of voice. Like, I definitely think most of my work has a very similar tone and theme. Like, it's something's very, cute or derpy or stupid or cynical.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, with some, silly eyes. But
yeah, even I guess it's still... Yeah, it's more like subject matter, and I'd say some of the characters that you're drawn towards and stuff like that. But then, like anything, it's always developing.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a personal style, especially you, because you're experimenting so much to make the tutorials, like it will always be developing.
Yeah, definitely. Because that one thing I thought, like, it's going to be almost impossible for me to have like a really like super consistent style. Like some artists have that are like, they like kill it. Like someone like Burnt Toast or 100% Soft, or people have this unique, like they use a similar color palette. It looks good. It's easier for clients to hire them because they know what they're going to get. And, they've got a system. But I just get so bored with that. And I think, and especially, I can't, like, how many tutorials could I make on, that one style?
That's true,
Yeah, true. Yeah. And it's funny. I think we're probably a bit the same. We get a bit of style ADD. Like,
yeah, man.
Especially with client work, we'll do something like right now, we got some standard 2D stuff on the go. We got some 3D stuff on the go. I was doing like furniture photorealistic renders earlier this week, trying to do that. Like, it's always just a mix because you'll see something new and want to try it.
Definitely.
And those people that, there's a guy, Chris Gaillot, always does really consistent looking kind of cartoony little stuff, and it looks so good. And there's so much depth there. And I think like, I'm capable of that as well, but then I just get so much ADD. I need to go all over the place as well. So it's just off the cards for me, I think. Yeah.
I think we also wanted to ask you about, when we had a beer a while ago, you mentioned that you were like kind of tapping into like the Chinese version of YouTube market.
Yeah, you're international now. What's that like?
So like, what gave you, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, what's the platform?
I upload my videos to Bilibili, it's called. So it's very similar to YouTube. They have another, probably their closest comparison to YouTube is something called Tudo, which translates to potato. Oh, wow. Not that that makes any more sense than a tube.
Yeah, true. That's true.
But I upload all my stuff to Bilibili. That kind of is more focused on animation because you can like watch anime and stuff on there, and you can pay to watch a series, kind of like you can on YouTube, but similar to like crackle.com or something like that, that has animation related content or motion graphics. MG is what it's called over there. Yeah, so that's the topic is MG. And I just figured like there's not much of a, like I could get them translated into Mandarin. So, and there wasn't much of a market. Well, I think the market's underserved over there is what I mean. Like there's like almost all of the educational resources are in English. And over there you could see like loads of just tutorials from YouTube that people would rip and subtitle themselves. So there'd be like fan subs of like Andrea Kramer and you know, Workbench and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if people want that, like I'll make my own channel. Like what if I make my own channel and, you know, start to grow that following there, because I think, you know, that's someplace I could be kind of first in. Like I'm not the first person to do animation tutorials on YouTube, but I could be, you know, the first, you know, English speaking you know, tutorial maker to engage with an audience on Bilibili.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like, yeah, it's a whole huge market, and it's like a whole group of people that want to learn. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the response been like? Is it growing as fast as YouTube for you, or is it a bit more slow and steady? Or?
Oh, nowhere near as fast as YouTube. But like the audience, the community is a lot stronger, because I think the people that do watch it are like, you know, someone, you know, a foreigner's taken the time to, you know, translate his work and educate us over here. Like that's great, and they're all super lovely. The communicating is a bit more difficult because all the comments have to get translated so I can respond to them if they're not already in English, and you know, so it's a bit harder there. But it hasn't grown as fast. I think we've got about 15,000
still pretty good
subscribers, which is like, yeah, I'm like, that's nothing. You know, that's whenever I think of that, like, no, that's still a lot of people that, you know, are going to be angry if I stop uploading. So
true.
Keep doing it.
We could do it with 15,000 subscribers. So tell your mother, tell your father. Tell your brother, sister. So you're internationally famous at this point. What's next? What's the next year looking like? Is it going to be Ben Marriott, Global, International, Incorporated?
That's the plan to go international. So mainly the plan is to slowly just focus, put more effort and put more work into the YouTube stuff, and slowly, like over the past year, I've started to get slightly more, you know, revenue out of it. Like for the first, you know,
bit more livable.
4 months, zero revenue, and then, you know, a little bit and a tiny bit, and now it's, you know, it's not a livable amount at the moment. Like you got to be making millions of, you know, views like every month to be able to get like a livable wage from, you know, AdSense alone. And, you know, sponsorship helps, but it's not, you know, like I wouldn't be able to live off just YouTube at the moment, really.
Yeah.
So still doing, you know, a freelance lifestyle is perfect for that. So I can, you know, take some time off to do some YouTube and then go and freelance places and keep that balance, and just slowly trying to, you know, taper that out and then keep YouTube going. But I don't think I'd ever say goodbye to, you know, freelance.
I think it's good to have a foot in it still, and especially if you get more, you can pick the stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
It's not so draining. Like we're definitely not in that space.
Yeah.
We still pick a lot of stuff that we don't really want to do, but we got to do it. So
many of them.
If you're setting up like a pathway to just do the best stuff and then do the tutorials, that sounds pretty good.
That's the plan. I mean, it did take, you know, 6 months of, you know, not really making much money at all. Like, and even longer. Probably it's been 10 months I've been doing YouTube. So like, yeah, that's not been a lot of money making happening. But you're
getting paid in internet fame, which is not redeemable anywhere. But
no. I mean, you made it on a day rates, man. That's pretty big.
That is good.
Ask anyone. All right, I think it's time for
Family Fun Design Corner.
Bah. Who do we have in the corner today, Ben?
Yeah, who we got in the corner today, Ben?
Today we've got in the corner Harry Bhalerao.
Oh,
shit.
He's a 3D illustrator and animator from the Great Britain.
Okay.
Dang.
And he does these awesome 3D illustrations and animations that just have so much like personality, and just he builds these like little scenes of life which are just so pleasant and appealing. And these are all done in Blender.
Wow.
No way.
Well,
This is right up my alley.
Yeah, this is like miles all over for sure.
I love the little characters. I love how soft everything looks.
He's got a lot of like what do they call it? The blur?
Depth of field.
Heaps of depth of field. I'm a photographer, I should know that, but
Yeah, no, I like I love little scenes and stuff. And Blender community's so good too. I've been using a bit of Blender recently, and it's like such a satisfying program, but I'm always amazed how much people can do with it.
Yeah, this blew my mind when I saw this stuff, because this looks like as high end as you can get some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And like his work is like, he's really prolific. He just
you
makes
gotta play that.
heaps and heaps of stuff.
I find it so difficult. I'm so impressed by people that can do characters that look like they would make sense in a 2D world in 3D, because I always overshoot with too much detail or not enough detail, or they just become blobs. So people that have like mastered that skill, super impressive.
Yeah, he's my favorite artist at the moment. He's just absolutely killing it. He's got a lot of animations that look like they're just stop motion, but they're all done in Blender, and they look really real and physical, and just the character designs are just funny character designs. And there's some that, you know, this duck one I love. Like, it makes you think like, this is so good, but the animation's so simple, and I just love it. I love it. I love how confident everything is to just make stupid things.
What a great find. I love it. So, Harry Bull, you've been cornered. All right. Ben, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks
do
for joining
some
us, Ben.
professional handshakes. Joel, get one of these. It's pretty good.
Thank you so much.
Do you like
Miles.
that? Oi.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Ben. We usually say a phrase at the end of every episode, which is...
Take the milkshake. Take it quick.
Yes, that's our phrase.
Take that milkshake.
You take the milkshake and...
Take it quick.
We'll see you next week. All
All
right.
right. Now the guest walks off and get out of here. I'll take that. Give me that.
I'm taking this.
All right.